warm welcome to It's My Life, the program that gets you a closer and personal look with the high-profile personalities. Today we are in the state of Odisha and our guest is a young, educated and suave face of the state. He's a Biju Janata Dal Lok Sabha MP from Kendrapada. Let's go and meet Baijayant Jay Panda today.
Welcome. Please come.
So Jay, this program talks about exploring the personality of the high-profile political people. 48-year-old techno junkie Baijayant Jay Panda, who majored in scientific and technical communications in 1985 with a combined dual degree course in engineering and management and communications from Michigan University, is an emerging face of Biju Janata Dal.
Madam, the troubles which started in Assam some weeks ago have now started radiating to various parts of the country like poisoned arrows which leave marks that we all ought to be ashamed of.
Earlier a Wall Street analyst and a restaurant developer in New York, he returned home inspired by Rajiv Gandhi, the man he calls the Kennedy of our generation. But listen to him, how he entered politics.
Well, I describe myself as an accidental politician.
Okay.
You know, I'd spent several years abroad studying, and then I had come back to help my father with a family business. And this was in the 90s, and I found it very difficult to adapt because this was in the early days of economic liberalization. There was an enormous amount of government interference in many minute details of any kind of business. You had licensing and permissions and clearances, and it was very frustrating. And I used to complain about it all the time. And some of my friends got tired of me complaining, and they said I should either shut up or do something about it.
A founder member of the Biju Janata Dal led by the Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik and one of the moving spirits of the Backbenchers Club, which has been renamed the Young Parliamentarians Forum, Jay Panda is popular for his tough talk on issues which tickle his conscience.
I would like to ask the Honourable Minister how often this committee is supposed to meet every year, because there are a lot of important projects that are pending. You know, the biggest challenge is that things don't move as quickly as one would want to, because this is a democracy, and even if you have good ideas, you can't impose them. Those ideas have to be sold to others, and others have to be carried with you. All viewpoints have to be heard out. So it's a slow process.
Panda is also a prolific writer whose articles attract millions of eyeballs through newspapers and websites. But if you talk about his personality, his passions and hobbies, even that side is beautifully stacked up.
I read between 2 and 3 books a month, and almost always non-fiction. So I read a lot of non-fiction like history, politics. I read a lot about current issues. For example, I have recently read a book about the Obama administration and how it has shaped foreign policy. This is by David Sanger, who is a New York Times writer. And fascinating look, well researched, at how policy is shaped on issues like the nuclear aspirations of Iran.
But what about your love for music? What are the kind of films which you actually see?
You know, I listen to all kinds of music. I'm not particularly focused on any particular kind. You know, I listen to all kinds. I listen to classical, I listen to some modern music. As far as movies, I'm sort of eclectic, but mostly I like light comedies because the kind of work I'm involved in has a lot of stress and a lot of hard work and travel and all that. So I'm not so much into thrillers and action movies. I prefer light movies.
Which is the latest light movie which you've seen, or maybe the comedy?
Well, I've seen quite. For example, last year there was this movie called Delhi Belly,
Okay,
which
yeah.
I found quite relaxing.
अबे तेरी अरे छोड़ो ये कौन ताशी तू है ताशी हाँ पर तुम कौन हो ओ बैरिस्टर विनोद सवाल जवाब का डिपार्टमेंट सिर्फ मेरा है तू ठंड रख थोड़ी
But what about the latest Bollywood songs? Do you really like them?
You know, as far as Bollywood songs are concerned, I still think the songs of 30, 40 years ago were so good that they are still prevalent in some form or other, either in remix form or in a remake.
Right.
So the classic movie songs of Bollywood of the 60s, 70s are the ones that I'm familiar with. The new
Okay.
ones I hear, of course, on television and radio, but I'm not so familiar.
So if I ask you to recall one song of that 60s and 70s era, would you like to sing?
There's so many songs. There's so many songs.
So why don't you sing for the viewers?
I'm
Just
not.
2-3
I'm
lines.
not a singer at all. I cannot sing to save my life. I can do lots of other things, but my wife sings.
Okay.
She sings well.
Okay.
This is my wife Jaggi.
Hi, hi, Jackie.
How are you? Very
Good, good.
Nice seeing you.
Come.
So we've really weaned you out of your busy schedule and to make both of you sit together. I really want to know from both of you, how did you really meet and how did you actually begin your life? Let's start with Jay first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a long story. We met very coincidentally on a flight. Well, not on a flight actually. There was a bomb threat to a flight on which we both were traveling,
Okay.
and it had to make an emergency landing. And we were stuck together. I mean, all the passengers were stuck together for about 8 hours. So that's how we met.
Well, I always knew modeling was a very short-term profession. It was short-lived, and I was very happy to leave when I left. I did a Palmolive, the soap with Aishwarya and Shanaz. That was my the largest campaign I did. That was for television and print. And then I did Anne French, McDowell's, a lot of other ads. I did a few. I didn't do that much ramp though. I did a little bit, but majority of it was television and print.
She also has a full-time career. She runs a media organization with hundreds of employees, and she has her own challenges. So it puts a lot of time constraints on us.
So when did you actually realize that you actually fell in love with each other? What was it?
It took a few meetings, and
Yeah.
but it was fairly rapid. It
Okay.
happened in a few months.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Jackie a very honest answer. Who professed first, you or Jay?
I don't think there was anything like who first. I think it was very mutual.
Okay.
So it was a very, it's something that he understood and I understood, and there was nothing like, I think it's a very, very spontaneous and mutual. So
Okay.
yeah, there was no first or second. At least I
I
don't
agree.
remember it being that way.
But once Jay entered politics, how was life for both of you?
I think it came as quite a shock to her because it's a complete change of lifestyle.
Okay.
And I think I'm very lucky that she has stuck it out despite the strains and stresses that a political life puts on you.
And both of you make a lovely couple.
Thank you, thank you. That's very kind of you.
So now we are off to Jay Panda's childhood school, the Stewart School.
was class 1. So this was class 2 for me.
But would you just recall, I mean, what kind of a student were you really when you were in the school? Were you supposed...
I was a nerd. I was... no, but I was also a bit sporty.
Okay.
I used to be academically always in the top 5. Hello everyone. So you all have exams coming up soon? Yes, sir. Well, wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
The lab is where it used to be. Hello. What are you working on? On titration? So my memories are, you know, our field was never a grass field. It was a dirt field.
Very
So the only way I could try to get myself into any cricket team was to try to compete on fielding, which, you know, most people don't care about fielding so much. So I used to throw myself on the dirt field and scratch myself and injure myself. And only on that count I used to get into the cricket team because I was willing to do that. My Odia was above average. I used to just scrape through in Hindi. And chemistry was always a bit of a struggle for me.
So that was Jay Panda's tour at school for you, but let's take a break at this point in time. But when we come back, we take you to Jay's constituency, and that is Kendrapada. Welcome back. You're watching It's My Life with Baijayant, Jay Panda. We've shown you his family moments, and now we'll show you Jayant, the pilot, who's going to fly his own chopper to his constituency, Kendrapada. So now we are off to Kendrapada, which is about 45 minutes away from Bhubaneswar. On the way, there are more than 70 rivers and tributaries which one has to cross. We are flying in a slight drizzle. Generally, choppers are not flown if the weather is a little turbulent. But with Jay Panda on the pilot seat, it's good so far. We are right now flying at an altitude of 500 meters above the ground. What you now see is the aerial shot of the famous Konark temple. And in just a short while from now, you'll see the famous Puri beach. Now we are just 12 minutes away from Kendrapada. And finally, we reach Jay's constituency.
This is actually a short visit because we are only here for a couple of hours. Often I will come and spend half the day or the full day. And the whole idea is that I get to meet people directly. I don't like having rallies and making speeches. I like to go village to village on the ground on a motorcycle and meet people. This school was on the way and they stopped me at the gate and asked me to come inside. So I came for a few minutes just to meet with them. And they have infrastructure requirements. This is a block grant school which doesn't get the kind of funds that you require under other programs like SSA and all that. So they depend on funds like MPs, local area development funds. He had a complaint, so I've noted down his complaint, and we will take action on that. And I've given him a postcard, which is
The complaint was regarding the payments of wages and...
no, he's not getting his pension.
Okay.
He's, we have a scheme for old age pension, people above 60.
Okay.
Now he says he's 70, but he's not getting it.
But one thing I wanted to ask you was this mega industrialization plank which the Odisha government is talking about, has it really benefited those effects? Have they trickled down to the village level?
Well,
Has it really benefited them?
Well, we have had about 1 lakh crores of investment that have happened to Odisha. And in the surrounding areas where the investments have happened, there has been a great deal of improvement of the local people's livelihoods. Now, it has happened in many really remote areas. Now here, no mega investment has happened. We are trying for it, but we first need infrastructure like roads and bridges, and there are 2 ports on either side of Kendrapada, but we don't have bridges connecting Kendrapada to those ports.
Okay.
So I've been working on it. The majority of people do actually get it, but there is a backlog and sometimes they have not processed it quick enough. So I take action on that.
So as you can see, there are endless number of woes of the people to which Jay Panda is trying to address, and now we are moving from one village basti to the other, and we'll try and explore some more problems which the people have.
She is differently abled. Now we have a scheme for pension both for older people as well as differently abled people. But she has to be examined by a doctor and have a certificate that she is differently abled. And that has not been done. So I'm giving the responsibility for somebody to take her to medical examination.
Just looking at her eyes, the kind of expectations and hope she has from you.
Well, as you can see, she's not even able to tell us her name. Somebody else has to do that. This is the Odia style of red tea.
Acha,
It is
okay.
with salt.
Okay.
It's red tea with salt,
Okay.
not with sugar.
Okay.
So try it. It's a
But
little
this,
different.
but this is lemon tea.
With a little bit of lemon, yes.
This is something really amazing. I'm really surprised that in a village corner you can have a tea which is really exotic with that salt masala which is called red tea here.
But they also have the cutting chai,
Okay.
if you want, which I normally have.
Okay.
But
It's really amazing.
ନା ବଢ଼ିଆ ହେଇଛି ଏଇଟା ତମେ କଲ ନା ଏଇଟା ତମେ କଲ ବଢ଼ିଆ ହେଇଛି ତମେ କେତେ ଦିନ ହେଲା ଏଇଟା ଚଲେଇଛ ଷ୍ଟଲଟା 10 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲାଣି ଆଉ ଦିନକୁ କେତେ କପ୍ ହେଉଥିବ ଚା 100 କପ୍ ହେଉଛି ଭଲ ବଢ଼ିଆ ହେଇଛି
It's really amazing. Very nice.
Odisha in any case is a land of temples. So there is no village that doesn't have a temple. 75 to 80% of the village roads are already done. Now the balance 20% or so that are left need to be pushed through. I have to adjust to both sides of my job. One is to be in the city, either in Bhubaneswar or in Delhi, to take up policy level work to make sure that these big projects get financed and that work happens, raise questions in Parliament and all the big topics that affect the nation. But I also have to be present in the villages to keep in touch with my constituency people.
I think that's what makes you a real grassroots leader.
Well, you have to be both. You have to have grassroots connect as well as the ability to push your constituency's agenda and your state's agenda at the national level. I was telling them that recently, about 4-5 days ago, after a lot of effort, the state government has approved 40 projects for my constituency, all amounting to about 550 crores.
Okay.
Bridges, river embankments, roads, all the typical type of problems that you're hearing about. So, but that will take 2-3 years to actually get implemented by the time the money is released and all of that. But individually, some projects do happen as we push it.
Here comes the end of an amazing journey, punctuated with lots of action. Now our farewell to the people. So we are back to the city of Bhubaneswar after spending a whole day with Jay Panda in his constituency, that is Kendrapada. But let me tell you, Jay, personally speaking, I've been very scared of the chopper, but today all my fears are dispelled. But Jay, talking about your flying experience, when did you actually start flying?
You know, I've been flying for a very long time, for 2 decades now. And I've had a love of flying since I was very young. I originally wanted to join the Air Force, which I couldn't because of my eyesight. But civilian flying was not a problem. So it's a passion of mine. I fly both planes and helicopters. I'm qualified for them in several different countries. And I'm able to combine this passion with my work. It saves me time so that I actually spend the time, instead of commuting, to actually going into the villages and meeting my constituents and interacting with them. So it works out well.
But today when I was traveling with you, you constantly harped upon the safety measure, that you are very safety conscious. Generally, when you see a chopper mishap, what is the first thing which comes really to your mind?
Well, unfortunately, in many cases, it is actually pilot error rather than any fault of the aircraft or anything else. And I think the safety consciousness comes not just from a pilot's personal attitude, but also from the training. And because I have licenses in multiple countries, I have been exposed to different safety regimes. So although I like adventure sports, besides flying, I like to do bungee jumping and things like that. But I'm very conscious about other people's safety.
So whenever there is a chopper mishap, next time I know whom to call. That's Mr. Safety, Jay Panda. So Jay, it was lovely talking to you on this program and for spending such lovely moments with us. Thanks very much for being here.
It's been a
on
pleasure.
This program. So see you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.